As the son of two Hungarian Holocaust survivors, I feel a strong need to tell my family's story. As chairman of the Holocaust and Human Rights Education Center, I speak about my parents' wartime experiences and how it has shaped my life. My name is Michael Jory, and thank you for inviting me to speak about Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is on January 27th, because on that day in 1945, the most notorious concentration camp, Auschwitz, was liberated. And while that may seem like a long time ago, it's only separated by a generation. My mother was an inmate in Auschwitz, as was my father's sister. All four of my grandparents were murdered in Nazi death camps. The point I am trying to make is that the Holocaust is not so very far away. The children and grandchildren of survivors are members of our community. And as more and more of these few remaining witnesses pass away, who will tell their stories? My parents were not famous. Yet when my mother died in 2014, I felt a great pull to tell her story. There is power in the fact that my parents were just ordinary people. In Europe, their families try to avoid controversy and steer clear of the inevitable anti-Semitism. On Holocaust Remembrance Day, we honor millions of unspectacular and everyday victims of the genocide. And we encourage everyone to speak up and act against forms of bigotry and prejudice. 6 million is a staggering number. 6 million Jews slaughtered in the Holocaust is beyond my comprehension. And add to that fact that the Jews did not corner the market on extermination. All totaled, the Final Solution genocide scorecard was up around 11 million people. It's hard to get my head around. To me, what is remarkable about the Holocaust is that the Nazis had the cooperation of most European governments and police forces, and institutionalized murder into an industry replete with train schedules, killing stations, patented gas chambers, and ovens to burn the dead. I feel we do a disservice to the millions of lost souls by focusing on a number like just 6 million. Not just a mass of murdered people, but rather a group which in each person was a mother, father, child, cousin, brother, or sister. I can allow my relatives to become part of that statistic, or I can speak their names out loud and recognize each death as a loss to humanity and a tragedy to my family. My great-grandparents, Moritz and Sherry Schwartz, murdered upon arrival at Auschwitz. My grandfather, Aladar Jory, died in Buchenwald at age 53. My grandfather, Istvan Schwartz, died in Auschwitz at age 50. My grandmother, Borbola Jory, died in Auschwitz at age 49. My grandmother, Rosa Schwartz, died in Auschwitz at the age of 42. Just normal, regular people, generations lost. My parents, mere teenagers, were living normal family lives in Budapest. The families had been there too many generations to remember. They had homes, jobs, cousins, grandparents, aunts, friends, the whole framework of a normal life. Yet, within a shockingly short period of time, their religion and family is singled out for abuse and degradation. You go from business owner to slave laborer in a shockingly few number of years. Stripped of all rights, you are tossed aside, hunted down, and murdered. Somehow, through luck and fortitude, my parents managed to survive. Then they were faced with the aftermath of the genocide. Their parents dead, their neighbors dead, their way of life gone. What do you teach your children? How can they comprehend the murders and horrors you have seen? What do you want of them? Yet, unfortunately, there is no escaping the reality of brutality and hate in our world. On this Remembrance Day, I choose to tell the truth about the unimaginable price of man's inhumanity to man. And I embrace the opportunity to advocate for dignity and respect for all people.